In the morning when I'm driving, I really come alive when I listen to my Ronnie, I listen to my RonyiQ. They are rare and they are few who can compare with RonyiQ. So grab a chair, she's coming through. She's on the air, it's time for RonyiQ. They are rare and they are few who can compare with RonyiQ. So grab a chair, she's coming through. She's on the air, it's time for RonyiQ. RonyiQ. It's time for RonyiQ. RonyiQ. It's time for RonyiQ. In the morning while I'm driving, Ronnie, I really come alive when it's time for RonyiQ. I listen to my Ronnie, I listen to my Ronnie. It's time for RonyiQ. Take a seat and go meet Ronnie. Sweet, 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 sweet Ronnie. No day complete without my Ronnie. She can't be beat. Sweet, sweet Ronnie.
Grand Rising, Grand Rising. I hope you guys had a fabulous weekend. Hold on. I hope you guys had a fabulous weekend. Let me remove this horror dancing from Netanyahu off my screen. I hope you guys had a fabulous weekend. Please hit the like button, share, and subscribe. So, let me start with a public service announcement. Let me start for a public service announcement for the mentally ill who are so mentally deranged that they wind up in prisons and jails and arrest records and hiding from process servers because they're objectifying children. Let's start with the mentally ill. Move on. Your name never comes across my mind, but I see the name RonyiQ is heavily on your mind. You don't compare, and you don't compete. Goodbye. Leave me alone. You obsessed, crazy bitch. Okay, let's get into some news. Let's get into some content. Let's get into living today. Let's get into I am such a dumb bitch that I want to live in yesterday. Let's get into some facts instead of making up hilarious lies. Please go stab your belly up with some more fat drugs. Go stab your belly up with fat drugs and your good friend too. How about that? Okay, so let's get into the latest of what's going on in the actual world that people actually live in. And while you're stabbing your belly up with some fat drugs, learn some Black history, bitch. Learn some Black history. Quit being a whole fucking mammy out here for the palm colored people who don't give a shit about you. You dumb bitch. Let's live in the real world. You know, when somebody is so dumb, I would put up the 800 number helpline because obviously you are a danger to yourself and anyone around you. But the last time I put up a helpline, fucking another slow bitch who used to hang out with you in Philly got in her feelings and I had to fucking shut that stupid bitch down. So I will not look up the number. Look up the number yourself so you won't hurt yourself or anyone around you. How about that? Let's get into the news because I swear I'm just trying to be helpful. Hey, Liz, good morning. It is always good to see you. Hello, foot soldier. Hello, hello, hello. It is good to see you. This is better than the cat. You didn't like the cat? I gotta go back and get my cat. I gotta go back and get my dancing cat. Well, you see, at least they're dancing. Hey, foot soldier. Foot soldier. Mm, oh, foot soldier. I was kind of perturbed with uh, 45, 47 coming out here so casually and announcing that three of our service members had lost their lives and five have been seriously injured in whole uh, this whole adventure for nothingness. This adventure into a war where it has been defined as at least three different reasons why we are going to war. Uh, I'm quite shocked that no one in the world is not questioning why uh, your president has gone to war with with a country and he has not did a serious address to the nation, and he did this days after he did his state of the union address. He did this in the middle of negotiations where the negotiating parties were to uh, convene today. They were supposed to convene today to continue their negotiations. I, you know, the way that he so callously said that, you know, three service members have lost their lives, and there will be many more who are going to lose their lives, but he has not explained any rationale, any rational reason why we are over there striking this country. While we are over there, isn't it elder abuse? I mean, isn't elder abuse uh, another way to increase the crimes? He's over there uh, killing a senior citizen, much senior to his old ass, over there killing somebody who can probably can't even walk. Over there killing a senior citizen under the guise of freeing the Iranian people. Now, let me share a little update with what now he has struck these people and has absolutely no way out. If you're not familiar, um, 45, 47 has already tried to broker a ceasefire deal as he's coming on the TV telling you that this may. He first said it would last a couple of days. Now you notice it's a couple of weeks now. But he has behind the scenes tried to broker a ceasefire deal. And guess what Iran said? Iran said, "Eat ass, bitch." No, it ain't no ceasefire after you've done this. So if you are unaware, while they are telling you a war in the Middle East is going to take a couple of days. Now it's a couple of weeks. What is it going to be next? A couple of months. Then it's going to be a couple of years. And then it's going to be what? The same thing it has always been, a couple of decades of your money going into this war machine. All of your money. And what the convenience. Your Pentagon has $1 trillion budget. $1 trillion budget. When we were going to a war with Iraq and Iran, what were they doing with this $1 trillion, with this $1 billion, 800 and some $1 billion budget? I think it was when we were in Iran. What were they doing with this cash? They were putting it in airplanes. The backs of airplanes. The airplane where the flap comes down and they load the shipments into there. They were putting stacks of cash in there and dumping them out of the plane, trying to curry favor with the people on the ground. All of your money is just being shitted out of the back of airplanes because they didn't know what the fuck to do. Because they got into a war and they got stuck into a quagmire in a war that they had no reason for starting in the first place. So, if this is what they're actually doing with your money, you know what else they can do with your money doing with these wars? They can make these heads of these defense contractors exorbitantly rich. Now, who just got a new defense contract? None other than Don Jr. and none other than Beavis and Butthead, 45, 47 Sons. These are people who have defense contracts. Who else have defense contract? Elon Musk. Who else has a defense contract? Palantir. None other than, what's the vampire's name? Oh, God. I can't believe Peter Thiel. These billionaires who already are billionaires. Elon Musk, he has a pay package for himself for $1 trillion. Someone who has not created anything but a bunch of lies about what his next car is going to do. And some these cars have never materialized. These people are the people who stand to gain some of these $1 trillion payment that this administration is going to be paying out in defense contracts. Did you know? Did you know? Did you know? How many of these White House administrators, how many of them have stock in all of these defense contracts? What do you think this is? Exactly what do you think this is? This is someone who has been looting the government and having no repercussions set upon them, who did a test run with looting Venezuela and taking the oil money, that stealing the oil, taking the money and putting it in an offshore account that only he has control of. That was the dry run. That was the dry run to loot the U.S. Treasury, in my opinion. That's just what I think. What do you think? He is so dangerous. The president and his administration moves like tweakers. Hey, famous F, it's good to see you. Innocent people. How does he sleep at night knowing he's unalived children at a elementary school? Now, it was reported on a small scale. It went from 50 to 80. Now it's over 100 children that have been killed at an elementary girls' school. Children. Now, are you surprised that a elementary girls' school was in the sights of someone who killed all those children in Palestine? It shouldn't surprise you that children would be a target, because they killed children for months on end in Palestine, and there was no big uprising. It took a long time for the uprising of the targeting of children in a alleged we have to defend ourselves because 1,000 people were dead. So now we have tens of thousands of dead children because we're defending ourselves. We have that right. Now, they said it was first of all, he said that it was a preemptive strike. How is it a I've already discussed this. How was this a preemptive strike when Iran had absolutely no way of striking the United States? How is it a preemptive strike when now they want to say that they wanted to make sure that they wouldn't get any nuclear weapons? How is it a preemptive strike when you struck them in June and said you had obliterated their whole nuclear program? So how would it be a preemptive strike so they wouldn't strike anyone with nuclear weapons that they had no capabilities of of creating, because you out of your mouth said you obliterated their program? How is it a preemptive strike when they had no plans to strike anyone? How is it a preemptive strike as Netanyahu is striking everyone in the region, as Benjamin Netanyahu is over there doing all these strikes in the region, and no one says anything? But we are to believe it. We struck them so they wouldn't strike us first because they had, they had shown the potential that we were going to be struck by them when they're sitting down and negotiating. They're sitting down and negotiating a deal about what? Their nuclear enrichment program. They had to. Why were they sitting down negotiating a deal about the nuclear enrichment program? Because the deal that they already had to secure that they would not try to enrich uranium to make a weapon, 45, 47 tore up the deal in his first administration. They already had a deal. He tore the deal up. They had inspectors going in there, and they passed all of their inspections that proved that they were using their nuclear capabilities to create power in their nation. This is how they, instead of drill, baby, drill and ruin your environment, they decided to have nuclear power, not nuclear weapons. The inspectors ensured that they were not enriching uranium to have. The UN inspectors were going in. But 45, 47 is such a hater that he tore up the deal, I guess because President Obama made the deal, so it was insufficient. No, Benjamin Netanyahu was in his ear telling him that they weren't honoring the deal. But have any of you seen any facts that match up to the has any facts been presented to you as a nation that they were not honoring their deal that they were in under Obama, that 45, 47 tore up? No, no. They offered no motherfucking information about them not honoring their first deal. So now, they're in deals again to about their nuclear program. Now, I played for you on Friday what the I forget his position, who was actually negotiating with robber barons. He wasn't negotiating with anyone in the administration who had any knowledge about wars and fighting wars. He was in negotiating with robber barons, Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff. His son-in-law, who received $2 billion from the Saudis, $2 billion from the Saudi at the end of his first administration, for his startup hedge fund business that he had never worked in. They got $2 billion from Saudi Arabia. The Saudi Wealth Fund didn't even want to give him this money because they had never been in this business that they were in. But the crown prince overrode the Saudi wealth fund and gave Jared Kushner $2 billion. And when they gave Jared Kushner $2 billion, everyone was aghast, and they tried to make up an excuse and said, "Well, I don't know why you guys are worried about this. It's not like Jared Kushner will be in any government again. He's not going to work for the government again. Jared Kushner is now a assistant to the envoy of this Steve Witkoff. Steve Witkoff, who has absolutely no experience in government, probably paying off. I guess if you pay off officials, government officials, I mean, I guess that could be the some experience. I'm not saying he has, but I mean, what experience does a builder who builds high-end condos and high-end hotels? What exactly experience does he have with negotiating the end of wars? We see Steve Witkoff if is the one who was negotiating the end of the Russian Ukraine war. How has that been working out? How has that been working out? A whole builder. This is who they had Iran doing these alleged negotiations with, when it has been reported that for months that Netanyahu and 4547 already knew that they were going to strike these people. Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, when they adjourned their meeting on Friday, they didn't stay and say, "Okay, well, we'll see you back here after the weekend over." No, last Thursday, they left the region to supposedly be back on negotiating on today. They left the region. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? That this is all bullshit. As the United States citizens, hundreds of millions of United States citizens are about to lose their health care. Y'all, and many of you American citizens think that that is a joke because it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened because it has been set up to happen after the midterm elections. But uh, his poll numbers are so egregious that there is a big setup to steal the midterm elections. They're like, fuck it, we cannot chance giving the people a voice to vote, their constitutional right to vote. We can't chance that. We have to hamper that. We have to try to steal the election. We have to try to disenfranchise people from their ability to vote. We have to purge the voting rolls. We have to make it harder for people to vote in their own country. Pretty soon we're going to be like the Iraqis. We're going to have to sign our signatures with a finger with a ink spot. We're going to have to dip our fingers in a bottle of ink and put it on our voting ballot. And everybody going to have to come out and say, "Ooh, look what America did. It gave us the right to vote. See, I got ink on my finger." You remember when all these Iraqis came out with those blue fingers and proved that America had did something so great? It gave the people the right to vote as it takes away your right to vote. You see how that was a whole bunch of bullshit? And you don't think that it's bullshit behind your government purging your voting rolls because their administration is doing so poorly? Hey Jill, where you been, girl? I was wondering where you been. Okay, let me see what y'all saying. Hey Nappy Child. 47 is just awful. He's going to start a war to stay in office. Now, we did see him when Zelensky visited the White House, someone asked Zelensky, "Well, when are you going to have an election?" They say that Zelensky is illegitimate president because the election was supposed to have already happened when they're in the middle of a war. So Zelensky said, and they do have a something in their constitution about when there's a war or whatever. So Zelensky said, "We're in the middle of a war. We can't, have people going out to the polls and or all this in the middle of a war." And 4547 said, "Oh, really? Yeah. Well, I may have to use that soon." It came out of his mouth. I concur with you. I do agree with you. I agree with you. Hey, detach myself. Hey, happy life. If they do come to an agreement or a ceasefire, 4547 is gonna, let me see, I lost that comp. Is gonna claim he made a peace deal when he started this shit. He's gonna say it with a straight face. So Iran told them there will be no peace agreement. So Iran now, what is also interesting, you may not be aware of that all of these anti missile components that the U.S. have. It doesn't seem like they have enough anti missile units to even fight a long war because they have been selling them to Ukraine and other parts of the world. Now, you notice that Israel is not allowing any press in to. To view all of the bombs that are going off in Israel. Whatever happened to the Golden Dome of Israel, where they felt that they could just strike people whenever they felt like it because they had the Dome, so the people would be protected. You know who's over there protecting the Israelis? While they have put the U.S. servicemen lives in danger for absolute no reason that they can have told you, the U.S. Service members, they are over there protecting these golden domes. A couple of them have been impacted. Israel is not allowing cameras over there. There would happen to be a live broadcast of a one news agency. I don't want to say it was Fox, but I think it was Fox. One news agency was over there doing a live broadcast, and they just happened to capture a a building in Israel being struck. And when they went down to get a closer look, that building was fucked up. So what Iran is doing, they're striking back at Israel, but they're also striking back at uh, other nations that the U.S. has interest in. That's why they're striking back at all of these other nations. Now, remember the Prime Minister of Great Britain, Steimer, the one who was shaking so nervously because he had let a pedophile be the ambassador to the U.S. Somebody who was quite tightly associated with Jeffrey Epstein, that he was standing up there before his parliament shaking and telling you that he had heard about the rumors about this man being a close friend to Jeffrey Epstein, and now this former Great Britain, what is his name? I can't think of the man's name. I did the reporting on this. Now this former ambassador to the US has been arrested in Britain. That same Steimer, he said that the US will not be able to use any of its airports to do their mission in Iran. They will not be able to fly from any of their military bases all around that region. No, you cannot use our military bases. We don't want anything to do with this. Oh no. Now, Iran, they're striking all of the United States' interests in the Middle East. So if you're wondering why Iran is striking Israel and other installations in the Middle East, to the point that the Americans are not going to have anti missile defense to protect themselves, much less anybody else. So they're talking about having a war for weeks. What you gonna do after a month? What are you gonna do then? So Israel don't want you to know that they some of their anti missile uh, in the Golden Dome has been struck, and that they're vulnerable. They don't want you to know that, and the U.S. don't want you to know that either. Also, these installations that they're striking all around uh, in Qatar, in Dubai, and now the Strait of Hormuz that we talked about on Friday has been shut down. Shut down. The Strait of Hormuz. You remember when 45, 47 first took office, and we were over there striking, doing those strikes in Yemen that the dumb Pete Keg breath broadcast to a actual reporter on an unsecure signal call, when these people, if they had gotten word of times and what type of planes that he gave in this signal call, they could have taken down these planes because they have anti-aircraft missiles. You know, the same fucking strikes that they were making in Yemen, where they lost a whole motherfucking uh fighter jet off of the deck of one of their uh what is it? Well, the boats that hold the fighter jets, what aircraft carriers. They lost a whole jet off of an aircraft carrier because they were making a such a quick turn, trying to haul ass under the unexperienced Pete Keg breath, that a whole motherfucking fighting a military plane was lost in the sea. These are the people. These are the people who are going to war in Iran, who couldn't win a war in Iraq, who hasn't won a war since World War II. Let's keep it a buck. This is the record of the United States government. Haven't won a war since World War II. We've been in two wars over 20 years, over 2 decades, with Iraq and Iran. Okay, so these are the people that they're sending over to fight under the great commanding of Pete Hegseth, who said that he wants the warrior ethos to be strong and proud, and he wants his war fighters to be able. He wants to loosen the strings of the war fighters, and he doesn't want them having to uphold uphold treaties that were made in smoky wood-filled rooms, the Geneva Convention. He doesn't want our war fighters and our war fighting ethos to be hampered by things like the Geneva Convention. That is kind of obvious. That is kind of obvious. You know, the Geneva Convention that was put into place after World War II, so no nation could just unilaterally go into another uh, nation and strike it. That kind of makes sense, because that's what we're doing. This is exactly what this administration is doing. He told you during his confirmation hearing, and every Republican approved him. J.D. Vance, the vice president, had to come in and make the tie vote because every Republican approved him. Even I'm so concerned. Susan Collins' silly ass. All of them approved numbnuts to be over the Defense Department. Oh, I hope you feel better, Jill. I hope you feel better. It is good to see you. I was thinking, I was like, where is Jill? Where is Jill? I saw you put up a I saw you put up a video yesterday. I said I'm gonna wait. Maybe I'll hear from her. Hey, Madison. Thank you for the super sticker, Madison. Hey, Bernice. It is so good to see you. AP News and NPR. Wait a minute. Associated Press and NPR. Let me see what are you saying about that. We should not support a president or his regime that I concur. I concur. I concur. Now, let me get into some of the things. If you guys were late, uh, let's take a little time out. If you guys came in here late, and let's shake our booties for a little while, because you remember that movie Boomerang, when Jasmine Guy's character Eddie Murphy had been looking at her and like, what does she see in this old sloppy mob boss? And they got together, and he said, what exactly is it that you do for Mr. Calhoun? And she said, whatever's required. So it seems that we are in a situation that we are being ruled by a president that is doing whatever is required. It seems like he has been compromised, in my opinion, because he is taking our blood and treasure. He's acting as if it is no big deal. This is what happens in war. A whole draft dodger, a whole I got bone spurs in my foot, motherfucker, is casually talking about the lives of American soldiers losing their lives, and he can't tell you why they're losing their lives. Let's if you missed my intro, uh this says it all. Benjamin's bitch.
In the morning when I'm driving, I really come alive when I listen to my RonyiQ.
Just in case you missed the intro, that link is in my description box. All of the links that I play are always in my description box. So let's get into what we're going to be talking about today. That is some of the stuff that I can readily remember. I will always be supporting you, and you as well. Talk to you later, Miss Q. I'm at my delivery. I love you back, famous. Uh, uh, please like and subscribe on your way out. It is always a pleasure having thoughtful people over here. Now, and please come back. Now, where was I? Oh, let me see where I want to. I was talking to you about Steve Witkoff. Why was I talking to you about Steve Witkoff? Uh, do you understand that this administration has been currying favor with these nations that are being struck by Iran, while they're being called special envoys. Uh, so Jared Kushner you were told that Jared Kushner would never work for the government again. But now here he is. Not he doesn't have an official position. He's an assistant to the special envoy. You know, Jared Kushner, who is knee deep in the Middle East, making deals, and Jared Kushner, who is presenting plans to make this techno city on the top of the bodies of the Palestinians who have been ethically cleansed from their land. You know, that Jared Kushner, who years ago said that Palestine was great waterfront property. That Jared Kushner. These people are over in the Middle East making deals for themselves to enrich themselves and their families. Let me share this with you if you are unaware of this. Oh, Steve Witkoff. Oh, Steve Witkoff, who couldn't make it to Qatar to tell them that they were about to be struck. Oh, Steve, he was trying so hard to get there. Steve Witkoff, Trump Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff and sons blur peace and profit from real estate to crypto deals. Uh, let me share this with you.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Officials with Hamas say they'll respond soon to President Trump's ceasefire proposal to end Israel's nearly two-year war on Gaza. Meanwhile, on Wednesday, White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt reiterated President Trump's timeline of 3 to 4 days for Hamas to agree to a deal and said any announcements would come from Trump and his Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff. During the briefing, Leavitt was asked why the administration believed it was appropriate for Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, to be involved in negotiations in the Middle East, given his financial ties to the region. This was part of Leavitt's response.
Virtually everyone in the world is supportive of this plan that Jared Kushner offered his time to help put together alongside our special envoy Witkoff.
Trump's Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, has said he's very optimistic the U.S. peace deal will succeed. Well, today we look at the many deals Steve Witkoff and his family are involved with. In a New York Times investigation headlined, "As Witkoff pitched Mideast peace, his son pitched Mideast investors." It begins, quote, "As Steve Witkoff, President Trump's envoy to the Middle East, conducted delicate ceasefire negotiations between Israel and Hamas this year, his son Alex was on another mission. He was quietly soliciting billions of dollars from some of the same governments whose representatives were involved in peace talks with his father," unquote. For more, we're joined by one of the lead reporters on the piece, Deborah Kamen, who covers the real estate industry for the New York Times. Deborah, thanks so much for being with us. I didn't expect exposés on the Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, to come from the real estate reporter at the New York Times. But if you can start off by talking about how you got involved with the story and what you found.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. So this story actually is part of a body of reporting the Times has been focused on for several months with reporters from across the newsroom. At the beginning of the Trump administration, it became very clear to all of us in the newsroom and many people in America that we were facing a really unprecedented situation in terms of conflicts of interest in the administration. So the Times put together a team of reporters from all different departments to look into different officials in the administration. I was tapped for that team along with several of my very talented colleagues. And when it comes particularly to Steve Witkoff, the fact that he is a real estate developer, my real estate background was very helpful in that area. And I partnered with people in London and in New York and in Washington. And we've all been working together to really try to figure out how we can report on a situation that is unlike anything we've ever seen.
So explain what the Witkoff real estate empire is and who it involves. If you can talk about Steve Witkoff, his son Alex.
So Steve Witkoff has been working in real estate for many, many years in New York City. His friendship with Donald Trump goes back to the fact that they both were real estate developers here in New York. They became friends in the 80s.
Now, this is who's brokering peace deals. What does this person know about brokering peace deals? It seems like he does know quite a bit about brokering financial deals. It does seem like he knows about that. And let's see what Steve Witkoff's his son. Now, what is also interesting about this Steve Witkoff, he has not totally divested from his own company. That is another thing you want to know. While they keep on putting his son's name out here, his son, Steve Witkoff is fully invested in his own company. Up until this day, this this was during the peace deal between Israel and Hamas. So he was fully invested in his companies at that time. You know, the thing that they used to have to make sure, even Jimmy Carter divested from his peanut business when he was president. But these people have no shame. They're not divesting from their businesses or anything, as they use their position that they are given in government, that they are not qualified for, to go across the world and make deals with these Saudi billionaires. If you're not, if you are, you wonder what I'm talking about. And right here, this Nimnut right here is the guy who bought in the reporter from the Atlantic. Did he lose his job? No, he was sitting at the UN Council trying to be indignant. What was his name? He was over the National something Security Agency. He was at the UN emergency meeting of the Security Council and trying to act indignant as if he didn't have to answer questions about this unauthorized strike on Iran. A whole idiot who bought in a reporter to listen to himself, the highest people in this administration, Tulsi Gabbard, Pete Kedbreath, J.D. Vance, Susie Wiles, talk about a strike that they were doing on an unsecured device. And he is still in the administration. This is who was sitting in the emergency meeting at the UN. What is this motherfucker's name? It's been so long since the same married motherfucker who they found the chat to some long slong black man who was visiting DC. Yeah, him. I forget his name. I'll look it up. Let's continue.
And in the late 90s, Steve Witkoff formed his company, the Witkoff Group, which is now a very successful, very well-known real estate development company. And their special sauce is that they build fantastically successful apartments and condos, often taking over buildings that have been previously distressed and then turning them for profit. So he has projects in Florida, he has projects in New York. They also have several projects abroad. And when Steve Witkoff was tapped late last year to be the special envoy to the Middle East, he turned the company over to his son, Alex, who is now running it. But as we learned in our reporting, Alex has been, for quite some time, been groomed to take over the company. And also, as we learned in our reporting, Steve Witkoff has not fully divested yet from the company, although he says he's in the process of making that happen.
During a real estate forum in New York City in May, Steve Witkoff and his son Alex were questioned on stage by Amir Karanji, founder of The Real Deal and organizer of the conference. He asked about how Witkoff's role as Middle East envoy impacts the real estate business of the Witkoff Group, which is now run, as you said, by Alex Witkoff.
When you call people, people recognize the name and they recognize Steve. Is it easier to make those phone calls when you're raising capital right now?
I'd say, we're raising capital based on a 30-year career. We've been doing business with major private equity firms, pension funds, banks for 30, 40 years, so it's business as usual.
So it hasn't changed at all? I mean, I know you guys, the Park Lane Hotel recently sold to the Qataris. Like, that happened around the same time that, Steve was going there. And I know he got a lot of hard press about that, but it obviously, did there appear like any conflict there? Because people, it happened with the Kushners too. They were having a hard time with 666, and Jared goes into office, and then the Qataris come in and sort of purchase six.
Well, first off, they're part of
the 666 building owned by the Kushners, that they were about to lose this whole motherfucking building. They were about to go into foreclosure for this building. And then magically, the Qataris came in and bought a whole motherfucking I think the 666 building was a whole city block in New York City that Jared Kushner did not know what he was doing, was put in the position because his thieving father, who was cheating on his taxes, had gone to jail. And the Kushner business was left in the hands of Jared Kushner, who ran it in the ground. All of these Jared Kushner properties throughout the United States that are they slumlord over, do no maintenance to. This is who are over in the Middle East brokering deals for their own personal businesses. But the job that they are doing, that they're telling you they're doing, that they're envoys for peace, and they're negotiating peace deals. This is what they tell you that these people are doing. And magically, they are getting deals that only enrich themselves, and there's no peace deals to be found anywhere. This fake peace deal that they pretend like they brokered with Israel and Palestine wasn't even signed by anyone from Israel or anyone from Hamas. They are blowing smoke up your ass, and these people still have support by dummies. These people still have support by dummies as they are going to war. This shit is amazing.
That deal for many years before. As you know, they have a big debt business. They do a lot of, they're quite active. So they're part of that transaction for a long period of time. And part of the reason he was able to be so successful in his role in the Middle East is because we'd been doing business in the Middle East for many, many years before. And those relationships allowed him to be successful in his role.
First of all, we were never partners with the Qatari Investment Authority on the Park Lane. We were partners with Mubadala. The Qatari Investment Authority foreclosed on a mezzanine loan against Mubadala and took it over. And so we were never partners with the Qatari Investment Authority. With that said, I have a friendship and a great relationship with the Prime Minister of Qatar. His name is Sheikh Mohammed. I'm on record as saying that.
So that's Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff, and of course, well-known developer. Deborah Kamen, can you explain what we just listened to?
Yeah, so Steve Witkoff and his son Alex were obviously asked some of the really hard questions about whether or not their real estate relationships and business with people in the Gulf, particularly in Qatar, have affected their relationships politically. Steve Witkoff's relationships specifically have affected them politically. The line that they use is that they haven't, that these things are separate. But at the same time, whether things are illegal is not the same as whether they're unethical. And if you are Steve Witkoff and you have a close relationship with the Prime Minister of Qatar, so close that he was at Alex Witkoff's wedding in Palm Beach last year, and then you are sitting down with him, a friend of yours who you also are in business with because he is an investor in a company that supports several of your projects. And then you also are sitting down with him in a peace negotiation. There's no question that these relationships and these allegiances carry over between business and politics. That's not necessarily always a negative. In many ways, there's arguments to be made that Steve Witkoff was chosen for the role of Middle East envoy because he had these relationships. But it's our job as reporters at the New York Times to show our readers where these conflicts of interest exist, and also show them where the Witkoffs and other people in the administration may or may not be profiting personally from them while they are trying to do this work, as they say, of diplomacy. It's not as clean as I think they want often to cut it.
Well, you do point out that that envoy Witkoff remains a partial owner of the company after selling a portion of his stake this year. So Steve Witkoff, as well as his son Alex, is profiting.
Yeah, so Steve Witkoff has, I mean, we received his financial disclosures as part of this reporting, and he has announced that he is in the process of divesting from his company. It was difficult to get clear information from the White House about his current status, but what we know at this point is that he sold a stake in the company for $120 million when he became envoy. And we know the White House has confirmed that he has not completed the process of divesting. These things can take time, but yes, at this moment, he is still not fully divested from his company. And Alex.
Okay, this link is in my description box. I just wanted you to be clear on who is brokering peace in the Middle East. And I just wanted you to understand why it is that Iran is attacking Qatar. Let me also share this with you. I have another thing I want to share with you about these deals that are going on in the Middle East that you may or may not be familiar with. So let's share. Let's share this. U.S. Saudi signed a 142 billion arms deal as Trump meets with Syria's new leader and drops Syrian sanctions. I talked about this when it happened. When the Crown Prince came over to the United States and said that he really wanted Trump to meet the new Syrian leader. The new Syrian leader was someone that our troops were fighting over in Afghanistan, as he was somebody who our troops were fighting in Afghanistan, and now miraculously he's the Syrian leader who was invited to the White House, someone that our troops was fighting, who has been propped up in the Syrian government as the interim president. I don't know when Syria is going to have their elections. This is why Syria is being attacked by Iran. Let's get into this.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman in New York, joined by Democracy Now!'s Juan Gonzalez in Chicago. Hi, Juan.
Hi, Amy, and welcome to all of our listeners and viewers across the country and around the world.
President Trump has arrived in Qatar after 2 days in Saudi Arabia. Earlier today, President Trump met in Riyadh with Syria's new president, Ahmed al-Sharaa, the former al-Qaeda leader who helped topple the regime of Bashar al-Assad last December. During the meeting, Trump urged al-Sharaa to normalize ties with Israel and join the Abraham Accords. Trump also asked the Syrian leader to deport Palestinians he described as, quote, terrorists. After the meeting, Trump said, quote, we're currently exploring normalizing relations with Syria's new government, unquote. The meeting took place hours after Trump pledged to lift U.S. sanctions on Syria in a major policy shift.
In Syria, which has seen so much misery and death, there is a new government that will hopefully succeed in stabilizing the country and keeping peace. That's why my administration has already taken the first steps toward restoring normal relations between the United States and Syria for the first time in more than a decade. I will be ordering the cessation of sanctions against Syria in order to give them a chance at greatness.
Much of President Trump's trip to the Gulf has focused on securing new deals for U.S. companies. On Tuesday, the U.S. and Saudi Arabia signed a new $142 billion arms deal in what the White House has called the largest defense cooperation agreement Washington has ever achieved. Trump claims Saudi Arabia has pledged to invest $1 trillion in the United States.
And with this trip, we're adding over $1 trillion more in terms of investment. And
look who's sitting there, Steve Witkoff, the liar who said that he had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. These people who are the people who are sitting on our world stage, making profitable deals for themselves. These billionaires. Look, who's sitting behind this one? The owner of NVIDIA chips is over there on with the presidential envoy. Look at his envoy. Let's continue.
Investment into our country and buying our products. And, you know, nobody makes military equipment like us. We have the best military equipment, the best missiles, the best rockets, the best everything.
Now, it's curious. Now that these people have purchased this equipment from the United States, this equipment doesn't seem to be helping them. Do you think that these people are going to be upset that this equipment that is being sold to them as being able to protect their nations, as they just shit out money all over their nations to make their nation beautiful, while the United States look like some antiquated shithole with patches all over our infrastructure? Do you think that they're going to be pleased that bombs have been able to penetrate beyond this equipment that they're buying from the U.S. to protect themselves? How do you think these people are going to react? Why do you think they're being struck by Iran? Because how do you think Iran want these people to react?
Best submarines, by the way.
President Trump is now in Qatar and then will head to the United Arab Emirates. He's facing increasing bipartisan criticism over reports that Qatar's preparing to give him a $400 million luxury plane known as the Flying Palace. We're joined now by two guests. In Washington, D.C., Akbar Shahid Ahmed, the senior diplomatic correspondent for HuffPost, is with us. His latest piece is headlined "A Moment of Truth in the Middle East for Donald Trump and Steve Witkoff."
Okay, hold on one second. Bakari, the military and president have so much intel you guys never consider. Well, since you're considering it, share with us some things that you believe that the military and the president share with us. What type of intel that you think that they have? Because our own intel department has already said that besides what 4547 has presented to this nation, that they did not feel that Iran was trying to reinstitute their nuclear program. So what information? Since we don't have it, it's obvious that you think you have it. So what is it? What might it be? What might it be? Since you want to have a conversation, converse on that. Expound on your statement. I'll wait. Oh, nothing. Okay, let's continue. See, it's miraculous that people want to get in their feelings when you're just presenting facts to them. I understand that some of these facts are new because your for-profit media is not touching on any of this stuff. Your for-profit media is not telling you any of this stuff. This is the first time you're hearing this shit reported.
Forthcoming book on the Biden administration in Gaza is titled "Crossing the Red Line." And here in New York, Sarah Lee Whitson is with us, the executive director of Dawn, an organization working to reform U.S. foreign policy in the Middle East. We welcome you both back to Democracy Now! Sarah Lee Whitson, let's begin with you. Your assessment of what's happened over the last 2 days, both his visits with these three countries, he's about to go to the United Arab Emirates, just landed in Qatar and Doha, but also what this means for Israel.
Well, this is a very volatile moment in the Middle East, and we've seen some pivots that we really haven't seen for decades in terms of independent U.S. decision-making in the Middle East. President Trump has ended sanctions on Syria. He's reached a truce in Yemen with the Houthis. He's declared that he's going to have diplomatic negotiations with Iran, all without the consent or veto of Israel, which previously existed. And meanwhile, he's dramatically expanding America's economic ties to the Gulf states, declaring that if you can pay, then you can play. The massive announcement of trade deals with Saudi Arabia, $600 billion.
If you can pay, then you can play. And look how they're paying now. They're paying with strikes that Iran is striking all of these nations that are doing this little pay to play with the Americans. With not the Americans, with 45, 47, because America ain't getting shit out of any of these deals.
The largest weapons deal, $148 billion with Saudi Arabia, and really no talk at all of a normalization with Israel as any kind of a condition, including for the development of a civilian nuclear plant. What we still don't know is what Saudi's going to charge the United States in return, whether there's going to be a defense pact, which is, of course, what Saudi Arabia has long been looking for.
And Sarah, what about all of the CEOs of major U.S. corporations that have also headed to the Middle East as well for during these days? What do you make of that?
Well, I mean, the days of Saudi isolation in the wake of the murder of Jamal Khashoggi, when some of these very same business leaders absented themselves from appearing in Saudi Arabia, are long over. And now I think American companies are looking to cash in on the billions of dollars of the Saudi Public Investment Fund, the Emirati Public Investment Fund, the Qatari Public Investment Fund. This is a boondoggle for American businesses because the Gulf states understand that in order to continue to secure U.S. protection, they must expand their investments in U.S. businesses.
And in terms of the ceasefire in Yemen that Trump has implemented, as well as other actions he's taken that seem to be marginalizing Israel and the Netanyahu administration, what do you make of that?
Well, I mean, the ceasefire with the Yemen and the Houthis is an excellent development, and I wish that every other American president had ended failed catastrophic wars after a mere 2 months, which is the deadline that President Trump imposed on this foolish incursion into Yemen, which has put us back exactly where we were before the incursion started. This was never a conflict that the United States was pursuing in U.S. interests, but clearly to support Israel
and look at where we are in Yemen again today. Look at where we are in Yemen. Where are we in Yemen? Yemen is the one who helped close the Strait of Hormuz. Why does it matter? Because that's where a large portion of our oil come from. A large portion of things that come out of that region goes through the Strait of Hormuz, which is so narrow that anything going through the Strait of Hormuz can be struck by Iran. Why does that matter? I just told you that's where most of our oil is coming from. If you are not aware, if you need to get up and go to the gas station this morning, you will find that since the Strait of Hormuz has been closed, gas prices are already increasing. So who knows how long this would last, but we do know the impact is instant. These links are in my description box under the title Profit Over Peace. Let me see if this is something different. I think I have one more. Here we go. one more. One more before we get into where we are today. You see, you got to know, you have to understand how we are getting here, how we get here. Let me share this with you. U.S. Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff's family real estate firm is seeking billions from Gulf nations, raising conflicts of interest concerns as he has not fully divested. So there's this article. This is also, let me see. As U.S. Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff engages in sensitive ceasefire negotiations, his family's real estate firm, the Witkoff Group, is actively seeking billions of dollars in investments from some of the same Gulf nations involved in the diplomatic discussions. This overlap of high-stakes diplomacy and significant business interests has raised questions about potential conflicts of interest within the Trump administration. Go figure. A New York Times investigation revealed that while Steve Witkoff, a longtime real estate developer and friend of 4547, serves in his official diplomatic capacity, his son, Alex Witkoff, now leads the family company. However, reports confirmed the elder Witkoff had not yet fully divested from the firm, meaning he stands to profit from its ongoing business activities. This link is also in the description box under peace. What did I? Peace, not profit, not peace. Profit, not peace is the reason while Steve Witkoff has been named the special envoy. That he is letting his personal billionaire buddies go in and rob under the name of trying to broker peace. How vulgar! How vulgar is this administration? Okay, but he likes the uneducated voter. So let's get into some news. Some more news that, now that we got a little background, we know that the Ayatollah has been killed. We do know that. Let me share this one with you.
Whether or not there are any American casualties. In Kuwait, we have confirmation from video footage posted online that the airport in Kuwait was impacted, and there are videos circulating of missile strikes possibly in Qatar as well. This is just the beginning of what will be a long and large war in the Middle East. Multiple countries will be impacted and have already been impacted. More updates soon. Follow for more. We have a major update regarding the war in Iran this afternoon. Iran has launched a wave of retaliatory strikes across the Middle East, targeting areas in Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates in Dubai. The senior Democrat on the Intelligence Committee in the United States Senate, Mark Warner, says that the United States misinterpreted the intelligence regarding strikes in Iran. Right now, a Shahed drone was seen impacting a high population area in Dubai, and a hotel, the Fairmont Hotel, caught fire as a result of debris impacting the hotel. A U.S. Navy center in Bahrain, according to NBC News, was struck by Iranian missiles. Unclear whether or not there are any American casualties. In Kuwait, we have confirmation from video footage posted online that the airport in Kuwait was impacted, and there are videos circulating of missile strikes possibly in Qatar as well. This is just the beginning of what will be a long and large war in the Middle East.
Okay, so there's that. Now, Aaron Paranis also reported on several things that I want to talk about. If you're not familiar with his page, the link is in my description box for everything that I play. I suggest you go over in my description box and check these people in their reporting out, because most of this reporting you are definitely not going to get in this for-profit media.
Iran was going to launch preemptive strikes, completely undercut by the United States' own intelligence. CNN confirmed tonight that Pentagon briefers told members of Congress and congressional staff this evening, or rather today, that Iran was not planning on attacking the United States or Israel unless Israel or the United States attacked first. So completely undercutting the prior claim that these were to stop preemptive strikes. The second major development is that Donald Trump spoke to the New York Times, and he says that the model for Iran should be similar to that of Venezuela. He says that that's a good kind of situation to model this one after. Well, that's a big issue because the Trump administration can't conduct regime change in Iran like it says so publicly if all it wants to do is remove the Ayatollah and move on. Also, Trump himself says this war could last 4 to 5 weeks. Venezuela was pretty quick. So we'll see what's going to happen. But it doesn't seem like the Trump administration has a clear-cut explanation or a plan. We have two major developments this evening regarding the war in Iran. First, the Trump administration's justification for the war, the fact that Iran was going to launch preemptive strikes, completely undercut by the United States' own intelligence. CNN confirmed.
Okay, so there we have that there, undercut by America's own intelligence. So it once you stop watching propaganda and actually try to find some news that this for-profit media is not showing you. Now, the for-profit media, I noticed, is also trying to say that everyone is up in arms and so happy about it, and they show celebrations from Iranians, the large population of Iranians who are in the Los Angeles area. These filthy rich people who are celebrating in one of the most expensive countries in the nation, and they are doing very well in Southern California. They show them celebrating that the Ayatollah has been killed by this administration. However, why isn't the for-profit media now? Iran is a country of, is it 90 million people? I think it's something like 90 million people. And they're showing you a population of Iranians celebrating in Los Angeles. Is your for-profit media showing you all the Iranian people who are irate, who are pissed off? No, they're not. Are they showing you all of the Iranian people who are chanting death to America? Now, they always want to tell you that the Iranian people are always chanting death to America. But after their nation was struck and their leader has been lost his life due to the strikes on a premise that has not been enunciated and actually approved by Congress, has been explained, has been detailed to you on some bullshit strike. Now the Iranian people are chanting death to America. And if you look at the people who they're showing you on the news who are happy about it, wait until you see the people who are not happy about it. But your for-profit media is not showing you that because they have an agenda. Okay, so we're going to get into some of that. Now, I also saw something very curious. Let me see if I can find it. Yes. Now, they're trying to say that this is a fake report, but I did a little, before I present something, I try to find out, just because it's on social media doesn't mean it's true. We understand that. So I found this quite interesting. This reporting on Netanyahu, his location. Where is we? I think it's like a where is Waldo situation. Where is Netanyahu? Let's see. It seems like they are thinking that Netanyahu may actually be where? Where? In Germany. So there was a instance where the official Air Force One type plane of Israel was circling around Israel for 4 hours, and then the plane flew this place and that place. You know that there's a arrest warrant out for Netanyahu, so Netanyahu just can't go anywhere now. There is a report that Netanyahu wound up where? Where else? What place would Netanyahu wind up in? There's reports that Netanyahu is hiding out in Germany because he is afraid to go back to Israel. These are the reports. I'm just giving you the information. And then when I looked to find out, to fact check this, take it with a grain of salt, is what I'm saying. Let me get the volume.
Aircraft landed in Berlin, Germany at 8:30 p.m. today after circling Israel for hours looking for a safe place to land. This flight is often used for the continuity of government during crises, by the way. Consider this jet the Israeli Air Force One. Netanyahu was literally fleeing Israel amidst retaliatory attacks from Iran. He could not handle it. The plane was stuck circling over Israeli coastal airspace for several hours before finally leaving Israeli airspace to try to seek refuge in Europe. The jet was seen circling over Greece, and it is alleged that they were refused entry in Cyprus. While the West is sending their children to die in a war that they have absolutely no involvement in, the leader of Israel has fled the country. And to Germany, no less. How about that? So Netanyahu has officially fled to Germany. I mean, Germany, of all places. The jokes write themselves. The official Israeli state aircraft landed in Berlin, Germany at 8:30 p.m. today after circling Israel for hours looking for a safe place to land. This flight is often used for the continuity of government during crises, by the way. Consider this jet the...
Okay, I just wanted to share that with you. These are some of the reportings that are coming out. This is in my description box under hide and seek. Is Netanyahu in Germany? Let me, when I fact check that, let me show you the reporting that I got on that. Okay. Let me share with you. Here we go. Oh, but before we delve into all of that, who is this? Russell Norton. Russell Norton. He bombed Iran to fight terrorism. You retards. Okay. Since we're retards, can you give one example of a terrorism that he was trying to fight that Iran is complicit in? Since we're retards. Since we're retards, and you're the intelligent one, Russell, can you tell me what terrorism that befell the United States that he was trying to fight in striking Iran? I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Hey, Very Carey. Oh, thank you, Very Carey. Thank you, Very Carey. Okay, so is Netanyahu in Germany? You know, the Netanyahu who has this administration calling everything anti-Semitic and taking children out of schools, and everything is anti-Semitic, except when the right wing nut jobs come out and say that the Holocaust was not real because they are Republican voters. No, there's never anything said about them, except when the young Republicans come out and says things like they are feeling kind of Hitlerish today. It's time to clean out get the showers ready and throw people in the showers, which were the gas chambers. Except when the young Republicans talk all of this Nazi shit. There's no call about anti-Semitism about them. So it is peculiar that Netanyahu, who has perpetrated this victimhood of the Jewish people to being anything that you say that you don't agree with the direction of their politics is anti-Semitic. And when they illegally, in my opinion, strike a country that they're lying on, and they strike a country on bullshit premises. He finds refuge in Germany, the country that definitely was anti-Semitic to his people. That is rich. So let's fact check. Benjamin Netanyahu assassinated in Iran strike. No. That social media claims allege that Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu was assassinated in an Iranian strike or fled to Germany are false and unverified. There is no official confirmation supporting these rumors. If the rumor is true, then Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, I think that means is the rumor true. Where is Netanyahu? Amid the escalating tensions in the Middle East and after the killing of our Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has not made any public appearance. He was the first person to claim via video message that the Ayatollah was killed in an Israeli strike. This is what I got. Big news. This is the post. Let me see. Some unverified accounts claim that if the rumor is true, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Well, that's not what I want. Where's the fucking start of the story? I don't think I started at the start. No, I did start at the start. Now, I didn't see Al Jazeera briefly reported that Netanyahu was dead before removing the story, sparking widespread speculation about his status. I did not see that, but maybe they have a picture up here. AI is a motherfucker. They say Al Jazeera. Meanwhile, an ex-user under the name of something something shared some blurred images and said that Al Jazeera briefly reported that Netanyahu was dead before removing the story, sparking widespread speculation about his status. No evidence, only claims. But I found something peculiar about this picture. If you guys have been following Candace Owens and the security that Charlie Kirk had, this man right behind with the meta glasses on, doesn't he look like that guy who was securing Charlie Kirk? I'm just asking. He really does. He really does. Now, there's one report here that said yesterday here in Tel Aviv and now in Biset Shamash, we lost dear people. My heart goes out to the families, and on behalf of all of you, citizens of Israel, I send my wishes for a speedy recovery to the wounded. A statement from Netanyahu read. Now, this is just a statement, a written statement. So it's not clear if Netanyahu. It's not clear to me. It is not clear if Netanyahu is in Germany, is no longer on the planet. It is not clear. I think this is the one. This is the one. That's the same one. That's the same one. Let me try to do a new search. Let me see if there's any new reporting on Netanyahu being in Germany. Let's see if there's any new reporting on this. No new stories. Let me see. No new stories. Iranians and German exiles celebrate U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iran. Thank you, Trump and Netanyahu. No, I find nothing. I find nothing. I find nothing. So let's move on. I cannot verify that reporting. But it has been verified that the Israeli jet did fly over Israel for 4 hours, and it has been confirmed that the jet is actually in Germany, but they have not confirmed whether Keg Breath was on said jet. So let's see who's in charge of our war fighting, of our lethal war fighters. Let's see what Keg Breath has been up to since he is not restricted by fighting these wars under the guise of the Geneva Convention. Let's see.
Pete Hegseth just got done giving a press conference about the war in Iran, which he is calling a war, and he was lashing out at reporters. And I'm not saying he was drunk, but I don't know. Now, I'm going to update you on everything that we know so far. I'm sure there's going to be a lot that I missed. There's just a lot happening. So I do really recommend that you check out other channels as well, because they are going to be covering things that I do not focus on. So if you want to be updated, this is a great place to get information. And if you're here, do hit like. Please do subscribe. But also Midas Touch, Adam Mockler, so many other channels that are doing really great work. So please do check them out as well. All right, now Donald Trump late last night came back from Mar-a-Lago, and he said this.
What are the objectives for Iran? President, who do you want to lead Iran? Unbelievable statues, you'll see. Come and look at it.
What are the objectives in Iran? unbelievable statue, a George Washington statue that has been added to the fucked up rose garden full of marble pavers. This is what he has to say. And what does he have to say about our troops?
Mr. President, can you talk to us about Iran, Mr. President? Can we take questions on Iran? What's the statue? Mr. President, what's your message to the families of the service members who were killed?
What's your message to the family members of the service members who were killed? Nothing. I ain't got nothing to say to them. Look at the statue. He has absolutely nothing to say. You think they would have gotten the story right? I guess because so many sycophants and idiots follow him and make excuses for him. He just figured that, hey, I don't even need to have a reason. Now he's given 3 or 4, but now he's shutting the fuck up after people have lost their lives. Not only our military, it is important the lives of people who lost their lives over there as well. Can you imagine? Can you imagine your skies being full of motherfucking missiles and you losing your life for absolutely nothing that your government was doing? Can you imagine if China decided to say that America was doing something so egregious that they need to strike America when America wasn't doing anything egregious? Can you imagine missiles being raided down on America? See, I think that's the problem with most of you, because you think it can never happen to you. So therefore, you have no thought process of how egregious what was done, how egregious it is for these people to have lost their life for fodder, for bullshit. Nobody thinks about the fact that these are real people who lost their lives behind lies and bullshit from people who are profiting off of this presidency. You don't take their lives seriously as you take yours, because you have never experienced a war. You have never experienced war on the grounds of your country. What is it going to take for you to take this seriously? Some of you.
So if you couldn't hear that, he said, unbelievable statues you'll see. Come back and look at them. And then when asked if he has a message for the families, he just ran away. He ran away. What he didn't run away from was the fundraiser he held at Mar-a-Lago. This is being reported by the New York Times. After Trump launched a new war on Iran, he did not rush back to the White House or make an Oval Office address to rally the nation as other presidents have done. He stayed at Mar-a-Lago to attend a glitzy political fundraiser. So he put Americans in harm's way. He started, who knows how long it's going to be war. And he couldn't even do it from the White House. He had to do it from his billionaire mansion in Florida. There's something about that that's very offensive to me. Like, if you've been hired to do a job, this ain't work from home, baby. You're the president of the United States. What are you doing? I got to go into the office, but you get to work from home? Is it even secure to be working from there? I don't know if that question's really been answered.
So, yeah, let's talk about this. Where was 45-47 when he let you know that they were doing strikes on Iran? You know, usually they go into the situation room because they that is a skiv there where none of your information that you're receiving in real time can be siphoned off by a foreign government. That's why they go into these skivs. And curiously, when they go into these skivs, they cannot take any of their cell phones. They don't want to risk any of this shit being recorded. They cannot take any electronics into these skids. So this shit was reported from Mar-a-Lago. Why? Because 4547 had a big fundraiser at Mar-a-Lago. So who can bother to let you know that we're doing a strike in Iran? Who can interrupt this fundraiser? This grubby motherfucker trying to raise money. Who would interrupt this to stay in Washington D.C. and be in a skid like you're supposed to do? Who could be bothered with seeing that your chief of staff, Susie Wow, was sitting up in the fucking what do they call it? Mar-a-Lago situation room with a whole Apple Watch on her fucking arm. Who could be bothered to make sure intelligence is secured? Kind of like that Pete Keck breath bullshit. This fat bitch is sitting up there with an Apple Watch on her arm in a meeting about strikes in Iran. This is how seriously you need to take these dumb people.
Like, how do we know that's even secure? The things that they're talking about, the information they're sharing, is it not being intercepted? Is it completely secure? I mean, the White House is literally built for intelligence to be shared and discussed in a way that we know is secure. And he's doing this all from a resort in Florida. I know there's a million things to be upset about, but that one I just don't get it. Spanish bases are not being used for this operation, and they will not be used for anything not included in the agreement of the United States or for anything that is not in accordance with the Charter of the United Nations. Spain is not going to let us use their bases to attack Iran, so there's one ally going away. Axios actually reported this. I thought this was interesting. Said no president in the modern era has ordered more military strikes against as many different countries as Donald Trump. He's attacked 7 nations, 3 of which had never been targeted by U.S. military strikes. He authorized more individual airstrikes in 2025 than Biden did in 4 years. I mean, and if he doesn't get the Nobel Peace Prize, then I think the whole thing's rigged. The whole thing's rigged. Donald Trump wants the Nobel Peace Prize, but he inflicts violence and war throughout the year. It's beyond parody. Now, we actually have footage of an F-15 being shot down.
شوف لا والله حربية طيارة حربية طيارة حربية شوف 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 شوف.
The pilots of this plane actually did get away, so thank God for that. Now, let's go to the bit of this press conference. I have more, as you're going to see. Look, I have just like a lot of tabs open. There's a lot to go through. But Pete Hegseth was actually, as I said, he lashed out. And he said this, which this is the reason why planes are falling out of the sky. Because that plane was shot down by friendly fire. And here's why.
Israel has clear missions as well, for which we are grateful. Capable partners, as we've said since the beginning, capable partners are good partners. Unlike so many of our traditional allies who wring their hands and clutch their pearls, hemming and hawing about the use of force. America, regardless of what so-called international institutions say, is unleashing the most lethal and precise air power campaign in history.
What I said, I was on mute. Understand that he has to read this. He is actually reading this. Listen at what he's saying and see that he has to read this simple ass shit that he's talking about.
Partners are good partners.
Sound like a State Farm commercial. Let's hear this again.
As well, for which we are grateful.
Pete Hegseth was actually, as I said, he lashed out and he said this, which this is the reason why planes are falling out of the sky. Because that plane was shot down by friendly fire. And here's why.
Israel has clear missions as well, for which we are grateful. Capable partners, as we've said since the beginning, capable partners are good partners. Unlike so many of our traditional allies who wring their hands and clutch their pearls, hemming and hawing about the use of force. America, regardless of what so-called international institutions say, is unleashing the most lethal and precise air power campaign in history. B-2s, fighters, drones, missiles, and of course, classified effects. All on our terms, with maximum authorities. No stupid rules of engagement, no nation-building quagmire, no democracy-building exercise, no politically correct wars.
No stupid rules of engagement. Fred Wellman pointed out why that's kind of appalling. Rules of engagement are key to preventing things like our ally Kuwait shooting down 3 of our F-15s this morning. Hegseth is an absolute idiot who is rightly pushed out of the military as a failed major. Pentagon briefers acknowledged to congressional staff in a briefing Sunday that Iran was not planning to strike U.S. forces or bases in the Middle East unless Israel attacked Iran first. Why this matters, it undercuts the Trump administration's argument on Saturday that Iran was planning to potentially strike the U.S. preemptively imposed an imminent threat. That's so funny because Scott Jennings said this. Senior Trump administration officials tell me that credible intelligence indicated Iran planned preemptive missile strikes against U.S. military targets in the region and against civilian targets as well. Failure to act would have resulted in mass U.S. casualties. Are you telling me?
And Scott Jennings will be right back on CNN today, being paid, as he called himself, good money to sit on CNN and throw up bullshit and lies to both sideism, every argument that is made.
That Scott Jennings would have lied? Or maybe he was just lied to. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Oil prices are up 10% as markets opened on Sunday, underscoring the economic risk of the widening conflict following the U.S.-Israeli attacks on Iran. Again, Donald Trump elected to do a few things. Release the Epstein files. Okay, well, he's not doing that. Also, to help America first, MAGA's calling this war America last, and just to bring the prices down. He was really hired for that job, to take the prices down. He's done the opposite. Things are more expensive than ever. Again, MAGA, how's your vote? How's your vote looking? I don't mean to put salt in the wounds, but yikes. Chris Murphy, I thought this was really smart. He said the cost of this Iran war debacle will likely be more than the cost of extending the ACA health insurance subsidies. And if you ask Americans, which do you want, another war in the Middle East or lower healthcare costs at home? Is a margin 90 to 10, 95 to 5? We got to run on that. That is such a good point that we should really talk about what these wars cost and what we are what we are taking away from ourselves in order to, I mean, really just kill. How is this making us safer? I think we were just as safe a week ago. I actually think we're less safe today because now we're a target in a way that we weren't before.
And by the way, and we have far fewer allies that is going to give a shit when something disastrous happened to the United States. This link is in my description box under Keg Breath. He did not even play a piece of the clip thus far. Let me see if there's anything else. He may get to it, but I'll go over there and check out Keith Edwards. He does great commentary. Let's go over and to the entire press conference ourselves. Why don't we? Let's go check out this Pete Keg Breath and Raising Cane, the unqualified. What is he? What position does he have? The unqualified Joint Chief of Staff, Raising Cane. Let's go over there and see what they had to say in their White House briefing, since your president is not showing his face for the White House briefing. Let's see what they had to say. I'm glad that I found out that they did a press conference. So we'll mosey on over that and check out what your government is saying to you about these unauthorized strikes on Iran. Okay. Anybody? Who is that?
The chairman's mic. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Audio check 1
Mic
2.
check.
We're doing a final mic check for the pool as well as DMA, as well as a cell phone announcement. Please silence all cell phones. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. About 4 minutes.
They doing the mic check.
Audio check 1.
Here we go.
Well, good morning. Now, we just finished an update with Admiral Brad Cooper, the CENTCOM commander, across the CENTCOM AOR, our leadership and troops, as you would expect, doing a fantastic job. 2 days ago, under the direction and direct orders of President Donald J. Trump, the Department of War launched Operation Epic.
How they doing a fantastic job if they shooting down their own planes? But you would expect that to happen under Keg Breath.
Fury, the most lethal, most complex, and most precise aerial operation in history. For 47 long years, the expansionist and Islamist regime in Tehran has waged a savage, one-sided war against America. They didn't always declare it openly, except for their constant chants of death to America.
Oh, so them saying death to America was actually strikes on America that they did for 40. So what we did the other day it was we are saying that them saying things that we didn't like to them for 48 years, you say, is the reason why we struck them. This is the rationale. These are the particulars that he's giving for this strike. This is a whole lot of fucking propaganda that he's giving you for these strikes. Let's see if there's going to be any concrete reason why he said that we took our whole military and struck this nation.
They did it through the blood of our people. Car bombs in Beirut, rocket attacks on our ships, murders at our embassies, roadside bombs in Iraq and Afghanistan.
This is shit that happened decades ago. These are shit that we put sanctions on them for and struck them back for. Why? But who? Why are you talking about the history of what has gone on when you struck them Saturday morning? Can we get to Saturday morning? The justification for going to war? You going to war with them for shit that happened before you was born?
Funded and armed by Iranian Quds Force and IRGC killers. My generation of veterans carry the names of brothers who never came home. Brothers butchered by Iranian-backed roadside bombs and well-armed militias, thousands of our own. We didn't start this war, but under President Trump, we are finishing it. Their war on Americans has become our retribution against their Ayatollah and his death cult. It took the 47th president, a fighter who always puts America first, to finally draw the line after 47 years of Iranian belligerence. He reminded the world.
The 47th president is a fighter. Where? When? When did he become a fighter? I believe he was dodging fights, but he find it okay to send other people's children out to fight. And you have not enunciated why the strikes happened as of yet. Hey, Z Sarah, he says listing stuff that happened anywhere in the Middle East at any time. Correct. What does Beirut have to do with Iran? Correct.
As he has time and time again, being an American means something unbreakable. If you kill Americans, if you threaten Americans anywhere on earth, we will hunt you down without apology and without hesitation, and we will kill you.
So when did they kill Americans? You struck them on Saturday. So you're telling me that you are going to send the military after someone who threatened you? That's illegal. You're going to send the military to kill somebody who threatened you. So what you are saying is something that is illegal.
President,
and you're so stupid that you can't even come up with this. You have to make sure that you purse your words in a pre-written statement to say dumb shit. Because you can't even be trusted with your own tongue because you're stupid.
Trump has also been very consistent. He will hunt you down and time again. Being an American means something unbreakable. If you kill Americans, if you threaten Americans anywhere on earth, we will hunt you down without apology and without hesitation, and we will kill you. President Trump has also been very consistent. Crazy regimes like Iran, hell-bent on prophetic Islamist delusions, cannot have nuclear weapons. It's common sense. Many have said it, but it takes guts to actually enforce it, and our president has guts. Iran's stubborn and self-evident nuclear pursuits, their targeting of global shipping lanes, and their swelling arsenal of ballistic missiles and killer drones are no longer tolerable risks. Iran was building powerful missiles and drones to create a conventional shield for their nuclear blackmail ambitions. Let me say that again. A conventional shield for their nuclear blackmail ambitions. Our bases, our people, our allies, all in their crosshairs.
Oh, so now we come up with something else. They were creating a nuclear shield to hide their ambitions. So you have nothing. You have absolutely nothing. Hide what ambitions? Their plans. Plans, ambitions are things that you want to do in the future. So they created a nuclear shield. What was this? What was this dumb shit?
To create a conventional shield for their nuclear blackmail ambitions. Let me say that again.
Yeah, say that again.
A conventional shield for their nuclear blackmail ambitions.
But you got to read it off because you ain't never said those 5 words in succinct order before in your life because it's bullshit.
our bases, our people, our allies, all in their crosshairs. Iran had a conventional gun to our head as they tried to lie their way to a nuclear bomb. It almost worked under Obama and his terrible deal, but not under this president. Turns out the regime who chanted death to America and death to Israel was gifted death from America and death from Israel.
He is such a numbnuts. All of this bullshit hyperbole of this bad deal from Obama. What made the deal bad? Because the UN inspectors went in there and found that he was in fact complying with the deal. But you never hear them say what was bad about the deal. What was bad about the deal was Netanyahu told you it was a bad deal. Let's keep it a buck. You motherfuckers are some bitches.
This is not a so-called regime change war. But
Oh,
the
it
regime
isn't?
sure did change.
Oh.
And the world is better off for it. Today,
Well,
in their death.
what it is about regime change. It's not about regime change. What is the war about? About them saying words? About them allegedly lying to you? About them building some blackmail, nuclear shield, blackmail bullshit, whatever the bullshit that you just said? If this shit is ridiculous.
Desperation, the enemy is unmasked as Iranian missiles and drones rain down indiscriminately on the hotels, airports, apartments, and other civilian targets of their neighbors. Cowardly terrorist tactics from a regime that for decades has trafficked in cowardly terrorist tactics, lies, death, and destruction to this.
I think that they were targeted attacks. I think that they were targeted attacks to hit the allies of the United States. But what I think was targeted cowardly attacks that you're not going to address is the attacking of a school, an elementary school, that killed over 100 young girls. But we know this administration don't give a fuck about young girls.
Day. The Iranian leadership has built nothing except proxies and missiles and drones and deeply buried nuclear factories and facilities. Peaceful nuclear ambitions do not need to be buried underneath mountains. Last June, Operation Midnight Hammer obliterated their nuclear program to rubble. Afterward, we told them plainly, that's it, now make a deal. They arrogantly refused. We said, rebuild it, and we'll stop you again, this time far worse. Well, President Trump, Secretary Rubio, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, they bent over backwards for real diplomacy, offering pathway after pathway to peace. I watched it. I was there. They tried over and over and over again earnest attempts at peace. The former regime had every chance to make a peaceful and sensible deal. But Tehran was not negotiating. They were stalling, buying time to reload their missile stockpiles and restart their nuclear ambitions. Their goal, hold us hostage, threatening to strike our forces. Well,
so you
President
mean
Trump doesn't play those
so
games.
you mean to tell me while y'all were in negotiation, when they were telling you that they are not proliferating any uranium, they were threatening you at the same time? Is that what we're supposed to believe? That they were stalling? You had obliterated their nuclear capabilities in June. You sticking with that? And at the same time telling us that they were threatening to strike you with an obliterated nuclear alleged arsenal of weapons that they had, that you had obliterated? So how long would it have taken them to reconstitute their nuclear program and actually achieve something that could strike the United States? Is that what you're telling us? I can't wait for the questions. I hope that they have real media in here for these questions.
And as Secretary Rubio said after the Maduro raid, if you don't know, now you know. President Trump puts America.
All of these elementary school sayings, all of this gentrification of black terms. If you don't know, now you know. Isn't that in a famous rap song? This motherfucker is up here DEI a speech about the strike on Iran, stealing from black rap lyrics, talking about what Marco Rubio said. Who said that? I think that was who was that? So if you don't know, now you know. I think that was LL Cool J said that. He's sitting up here quoting LL. No, that was Biggie. That was Biggie. That was Biggie. He's sitting up here quoting Biggie Smalls and attributing it to Marco Rubio.
And Americans first. He doesn't hesitate, and neither do our troops. The mission of Operation Epic Fury is laser focused. Destroy Iranian offensive missiles, destroy Iranian missile production, destroy their navy and other security infrastructure, and they will never have nuclear weapons. We're hitting them surgically, overwhelmingly, and unapologetically. With every passing day, our capabilities get stronger and Iran's get weaker. We set the terms of this war from start to finish. Our ambitions are not utopian. They are realistic, scoped to our interests and the defense of our people and our allies. Speaking of people, we hope the Iranian people take advantage of this incredible opportunity. President Trump has been clear, now is your time. To Iranian security forces, choose wisely. President Trump has also been clear about your fate in either direction. To the media outlets and political left screaming endless wars, stop. This is not Iraq. This is not endless. I was there for both. Our generation knows better, and so does this president. He called the last 20 years of nation-building wars dumb, and he's right. This is the opposite. This operation is a clear, devastating, decisive mission. Destroy the missile threat, destroy the Navy, no nukes. Israel has clear missions as well, for which we are grateful. Capable partners, as we've said since the beginning, capable partners are good partners. Unlike so many of our traditional allies who wring their hands and clutch their pearls, hemming and hawing about the use of force. America, regardless of what so-called international institutions say, is unleashing the most lethal and precise air power campaign in history. B-2s, fighters, drones, missiles, and of course, classified effects. All on our terms, with maximum authorities. No stupid rules of engagement, no nation-building quagmire, no democracy-building exercise, no politically correct wars. We fight to win, and we don't waste time or lives. As the president warned, an effort of this scope will include casualties. War is hell, and always will be. A grateful nation honors the 4 Americans we have lost thus far and those injured. The absolute best of America. May we prosecute the remainder of this operation in a manner that honors them. No apologies, no hesitation, epic fury for them and the thousands of Americans before them, taken too soon by Iranian radicals. Before I turn it over to General Kane for the operational update, let me speak straight to you, the Joint Force, our warriors on the front lines. This is your moment. This is the generational turning point America has waited for since 1979, and since the rudderless wars of hubris my generation, our generation, endured. Don't listen to the noise. Just stay focused. Our commander-in-chief is steady at the wheel. We face a determined enemy, but you are better. But we must prove it every single day. History doesn't care if we're tired, if we're scared, or if the fight feels big. It demands warriors who rise anyway. Peace through strength, the warrior ethos, lethality, unity of purpose, those are not slogans. They're the beating heart of what it means to wear the uniform, that uniform. You think clearly under fire, you act decisively in chaos, you uphold the Constitution, and you uphold our country without hesitation. We are not defenders anymore. We are warriors, trained to kill the enemy and break their will. History is watching. Be the force you swore an oath to be, focused, disciplined, lethal, and unbreakable. We will finish this on America First conditions of President Trump's choosing. Nobody else's, as it should be. And know this above all, President Trump and I have your back, always.
All of this to say, this is a unthought out. They have no agenda. They have no answers for you. All of this hyperbole and bullshit. They absolutely have no answers for you, and they cannot tell you this will be completed on President Trump's plan and no one else's. But he cannot tell you what that plan entails. He cannot tell you what outcome he is looking for, because the outcome that he said that he wanted them to tell them that they will not be seeking a nuclear weapon. They did tell him that, but they were still struck under the guise of we'll see you Monday to continue these negotiations. Let's be real clear.
Through fire, through criticism, through fake news, through everything. We unleash you because...
Through fake news, through everything. So you're sitting up here doing a press conference. You're pointing at the press because they ask you questions that you don't have the answer to. They're fake news. It's just a wonder. Well, no, it's not a wonder because our education system has been failed of the American student. It's just a wonder that some Americans can do anything that will fall for this line of bullshit that they feel comfortable shoveling to you because they have so little respect for you and your fucking ability to think critically that they are throwing this bullshit out at you and knowing that it's going to appease many of you, knowing that it's going to have more of you out here talking about TDS. You have TDS when someone brings up a valid point about how this administration is so full of shit. But you got motherfuckers walking around here, TDS, actually taking seriously a motherfucking a term that is supposed to make the person you tell have TDS feel some type of way, because the ignorant who's using the term TDS has no fucking argument, cannot converse with you on a differing point about the facts that you're speaking.
You are the best, most powerful, most lethal fighting force the world has ever seen. May Almighty God.
And that's why our jets are falling out of the sky from friendly fire. Is that why that is happening?
Watch over you, and his providential arms of protection extend over you. Godspeed, warriors, and keep going. General Kane. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and good morning, everyone. The purpose of my portion of the briefing today is to update you and the American people on the actions taken thus far. The briefing will discuss the preparation, the planning, setting the force, the early operations, and how we're assessing the progress thus far.
So Keg Breath was your hype man. Okay. That was the Flavor Flav of the Department of Justice.
Let's get started.
Not the Department of Justice. That was he's the hype man for the Defense Department. Okay. Now we got it.
On Saturday, 28 February at 01:15 Eastern Standard Time, 9:45 a.m. local Tehran time, on the orders of the President of the United States, U.S. Central Command under the command of United States Navy Admiral Brad Cooper commenced Operation Epic Fury. As I said, I'm going to walk you through the initial phases of the operation, but first I want to express my deep condolences and the condolences of the Joint Force to the Department of War personnel killed and wounded in actions thus far. As the Secretary said, they're heroes and represent the best of our nation has to offer. They're true examples of what selfless service means. Our deepest and heartfelt condolences are with their families, their friends, and their units. We grieve with you and we will never forget you. Additionally, I stand here before you today grateful for each service member, planner, logistician, operator across our joint force, for our Department of War civilians, our intelligence community teammates, our interagency teammates who continue to stand in harm's way alongside us. I am proud of all of you as you take the fight to the enemy, and we are the best in the world at integrating, period. I want to extend my personal gratitude to the dedicated commanders and senior enlisted leaders and the enlisted members of the Joint Force who are fighting this fight across the CENTCOM AOR. In addition to Admiral Cooper and Fleet Master Chief Compton, I want to highlight a few today. U.S. Army Central Command Commander Lieutenant General Pat Frank, who along with his team are fighting the counter-missile and counter-drone fight. United States Navy Central Command Commander Vice Admiral Kurt Renshaw and his team, who are engaged with the Iranian Navy and projecting American naval combat power from the seas. And United States Air Force Central Command Commander Lieutenant General Derek France and his leadership team, who are crushing Iranian targets from the air. I want to highlight the support to the CENTCOM fight from other combatant commands who are directly involved with this effort, to include U.S. Spacecom, U.S. Cybercom, and U.S. UCOM. I also want to specifically call out United States Transportation Command and U.S. STRATCOM for their contributions to this fight. We cannot project American combat power at the time and place of our choosing without both. And finally, I want to express how deeply thankful I am for the continued service and sacrifice of the entire Joint Force and their families. Their unwavering commitment and dedication are the cornerstones of this effort. So let me start with a few details. First, to be clear, as the Secretary said, this is not a single overnight operation. The military objectives that CENTCOM and the Joint Force have been tasked with will take some time to achieve, and in some cases will be difficult and gritty work. We expect to take additional losses, and as always, we will work to minimize U.S. losses. But as the Secretary said,
so we hear you're taking losses, but we don't hear what the end game is. We have not heard any reasoning for you going in with the understanding that you're going to be taking losses, but we don't even understand why you went in. There is. Can we start from the beginning? Since you are supposed to be the serious one and your cheerleader over there is passed out on the bench with vomit flowing out of his mouth, can you tell us why did you strike Iran in the first place? This link is going to be in your description box. Let me copy this. Under press conference. Under press conference. And I'm going to move on from this bullshit.
This is major combat operations. So let me talk about the preparation and the planning. On February 28th, the full strength of America's armed forces came together in a unified purpose against a capable and determined adversary. The United States Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, Space Force, Coast Guard, and our reserve components integrated across our combatant commands and began coordinated operations with the Israeli armed forces of an unprecedented scale. As the Secretary laid out, our military objectives.
Why? Okay, here we go.
Are clear. Our mission is to protect and defend ourselves, and together with our regional partners, prevent Iran from the ability.
No, protect. No, that's not clear. That's very vague. Your objectives were what? No, we're not talking. We're specifically why did we do this?
to project began coordinated operations with the Israeli armed forces of an unprecedented scale. As the Secretary laid out, our military objectives are clear. Our mission is to protect and defend ourselves and, together with our regional partners, prevent Iran from the ability to project power outside of its borders and be ready for follow-on actions as appropriate. Across every domain.
So Iran cannot even project that they have powers that would extend outside of their borders. So Iran cannot project. You cannot you cannot admit that you will have the abilities to protect yourself outside of your borders. What are you talking about? Threats outside of your borders. What are you talking about? For example, what are you talking about? They cannot project that they have the ability to what did he say? Let me see what that motherfucker say.
With our regional partners, prevent Iran from the ability to project power outside of its borders and be ready
to project power outside of their borders. So you were preventing that. Give us an example of why you felt that that was necessary to do on this day. You can't, because this is all bullshit.
ready for follow-on actions as appropriate. Across every domain, land, air, sea, cyber, the U.S. Joint Force delivered synchronized and layered effects designed to disrupt, degrade, deny, and destroy Iran's ability to conduct and sustain combat operations. On the U.S.
Why did you do that? Why would you try to destruct and tear down their ability to have combated readiness? Why would you do that? All of this sounds like, oh, that's spectacular. Oh, he's talking military jargon. Oh, look. Oh, they conducted this raid. They did this. So why would you do that, though? Aren't all nations should have the ability to protect themselves? But you wanted to take this away from Iran specifically. You wanted to hamper their ability to have the capabilities of protecting their own nation. And you haven't told us why yet.
Side, this marked the culmination of disrupt, degrade, deny, and destroy Iran's ability to conduct and sustain combat operations. On the U.S. side, this marked the culmination of months and in some cases years of deliberate planning and refinement against this particular target set. From precision strikes against key military infrastructure to persistent intelligence and targeting integration to the close coordination of the components across vast distances, this operation again demonstrated America's reach, readiness, and professionalism, and that of our joint united force. It was historic.
Professionalism. So he's telling you that they have been doing targeted strikes on them. He said for weeks, for months, and sometimes even years. So why? You still haven't told us why. All of this jaw jerking about how fierce of an opponent that you had to take them entirely off the board, but you haven't given us not nan reason why.
Not only in the operational scope, but in the level of joint integration displayed across every element.
This is a bunch of bullshit. This is a bunch of word salad bullshit. Let's see if they're taking any questions from the press. This is in my description box under keg breath. Let's see if the media asks these numbnuts any questions. I've heard enough.
Boyd. Go ahead. Thank you for your time. What percentage of Iranian long-strike capabilities are still in the fight, and what is our exit strategy here, and when will it be deployed?
Well, they have long-range strike capabilities, which we are hyper-focused on. The brief we got just this morning, Admiral Cooper knows exactly and precisely what kind of threat matrix he's looking at, the way they might change their techniques, and how we adapt to that. So we're making sure the theater commander has absolutely everything he needs. I mean, one of the things the chairman mentioned is for months and months, even before we built up, we ensured that we had maximum defensive capabilities in theater. to allow the president the decision space in the future. So even before this buildup in the last 30 days, we discreetly brought defensive assets in to make sure, understanding that there are Iranian capabilities. As far as time frame, I would never hang a time frame from our perspective. The commander-in-chief sets the op-tempo and terms of this fight. As I said, it's on his terms, and we'll make sure that Admiral Cooper and his team have everything they need, not just to defend. I mean, best defense is good offense. And so we're aggressively pushing into that airspace over that southern flank to ensure that we control it and we destroy anything that moves that would attempt to shoot us. Think of it as shooting the archer instead of the arrows. That's where we want to be. And we have the kind of exquisite intelligence to get over the top, find that and destroy it. It won't happen overnight. This is a big battle space with a lot of capabilities.
Speaking of intelligence, do you know what AI intelligence that they actually use during this strike? They use Anthropic. You know, the same Anthropic that told them that they could not, they will work with the Pentagon, but they could not have technology to survey American people. It was 2 conditions that they told them to survey the American people, and I forget the other one. I'm going to play it for you. And the Pentagon decided to that they were going to cancel the Anthropic AI model at the Pentagon, and that they were going to label them as some type of hostile company, and that would mean that no one should work with Anthropic. But they use Anthropic AI technology in these strikes, after they said that they were going to ruin their company unless they allow their AI to do things that the creator of Anthropic would not allow them to do and was uncomfortable with them doing. That's the technology. I'm pretty sure if it was Palantir or somebody else, he'd have been letting you know. But there has been a big, they gave them until 5 p.m. Friday to accept their offer or not, or take your program and haul ass. And then on Saturday morning, they use their information that their program used to make this strike in Iran. These are the people that you're dealing with.
Capabilities. That's part of the reason why it's such a threat to us. That's why I talk about conventional umbrella to blackmail nuclear ambitions. They were building up this conventional arsenal in order to ensure that no one would ever block them from their ability to get nuclear weapons. So we're very clear-eyed about the nature of this Iranian threat, and we're going to get after it. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for the question. The only thing I'll add is that unlike an operation, a single operation like Midnight Hammer or Absolute Resolve, it'll take some time for us to conduct battle damage assessment, and the targeting cycle that CENTCOM will run will take those things into effect. Admiral Cooper will adjust his plan and fires accordingly to ensure that we're attriting that. He's focused on long-range strike capability coming out of the enemy, and that's a key and essential part of it.
Capabilities that still exist from the enemy front.
Yeah, that's what I mean when I say we're still doing BDA. Normally we'd be able to see a singular thing and we'd assess pretty quickly. He's doing offense and assessment simultaneously, so it'll take longer for us to assess than it would in a single operation.
Secretary Hicks, thank you. Really 2 questions for you. The president said yesterday that we will leave Iran when we complete all our objectives. What are our objectives? And can you share more information on how the soldiers who were killed were killed?
Well, I laid out the objectives, as did the chairman. They're completely nested. I mean, Iran has an ability to project power against us and our allies in ways that we can't tolerate. So whether that's ballistic missiles and drones.
No, you didn't lay out anything. You laid out a bunch of vague word salad. You laid out absolutely nothing.
So offensive capabilities, effectively their Navy, which would attempt to set other terms and impose different costs, drone capabilities, which we laid out there. And ultimately, though, this tying it back to Midnight Hammer, the president has been willing to make a deal. You can't have a nuclear bomb. Radical Islamists can't have a nuclear bomb that they wield against the world. He gave them every single opportunity. Then we precisely took it away. And even then, after that, they didn't have that. They didn't come to the table with a willingness to give it away. So ultimately,
he's lying.
Nuclear ambitions, which never ceased, are something that had to be addressed as well. So that's a discrete sense of what's being addressed here to ensure that they can't use that conventional umbrella to continue a pursuit of nuclear ambitions. And then as it pertains to the U.S. casualties, that particular incident was, you have air defenses and a lot's coming in and you hit most of it. And we absolutely do. We have incredible air defenders. Every once in a while, you might have one, unfortunately, we call it a squirter that makes its way through. And in that particular case, it happened to hit a tactical operations center that was fortified, but these are powerful weapons. So we certainly will do, as I said, moments like that as we remember them and we take care of them and take care of their families, only stiffen our resolve to ensure that we do this properly. Thank you. Yeah. Right here.
Thank you, Secretary Hexeth. I had two questions for you. First, are there currently any American boots on the ground in Iran?
No, but we're not going to go into the exercise of what we will or will not do. I think it's one of those fallacies for a long time that this department or presidents or others should tell the American people, this, and our enemies, by the way, here's exactly what we'll do. Here's exactly how long we'll go. Here's exactly how far we'll go. Here's what we're willing to do and not do. It's foolishness. And so President Trump ensures that our enemies understand we'll go as far as we need to go to advance American interests. But we're not dumb about it. You don't have to roll 200,000 people in there and stay.
He just said it. We'll go however and we need to go to advance Americans' interests. This is not about any protection of America. This is to advance their interests. If you didn't hear it, now we finally got it.
And so President Trump ensures that our enemies understand we'll go as far as we need to go to advance American interests. But we're not dumb about it. You don't have to roll 200,000 people in there and stay for 20 years. We've proven that you can achieve objectives that advance American interests without being foolish about it. Now, will we be bold about it? Are we willing to be decisive about it? Do we put months and months of planning into what kind of effects we want to achieve? Absolutely. But going forward, why in the world would we tell you, the enemy, anybody, what we will or will not do in pursuit of an objective? We fight to win.
Why would we tell you? We're keeping it secret because we don't know what the fuck we're doing. We just want to advance, not Americans' interests. We just want to advance the interests that we have been told that we must advance. And why would we tell you how we're going to do it as we take your tax dollars to do it?
We fight to achieve the objectives the President of the United States has laid out, and we will do so unapologetically. Thank
Is there
you.
any significance to Israel carrying out the strike to kill the Ayatollah? And I wanted to know, what was your immediate reaction to finding out about his killing?
I think Israel did a great job in the conduct of that operation.
President Trump put a 4-week timeline on it. Are you
Please.
saying that's wrong?
Yeah, thank you. You mentioned during the briefing, General Kane, that there would be additional troops sent to the region. Could you say how many troops currently are involved in this operation and how many additional troops are planned to go in this next phase?
I don't want to talk specifics because that would tip the enemy off. We have more tactical aviation flowing into theater just based on the time it took to get it out there. I think we're just about where we want to be in terms of total combat capacity and total combat power for Admiral Cooper. One of the things, though, that a commander, he'll consistently assess the trajectory of the campaign. Is he on or off trajectory? And then make an ask of the joint force, which will then develop options for consideration by the Secretary and the President to either increase.
Okay, Lance is too long.
Execute what we need on our own question. President Trump has all the latitude in the world to talk.
He'll consistently assess the joint force, which will in some cases decrease the amount of
typical NBC sort of gotcha type question.
Oh, here he goes with
question
the,
about,
here he goes with the bullshit, thinking that he can bring the company of the reporter into his inability to be a professional statesman with the bullshit. Here we
4
go.
weeks. It's the typical NBC sort of gotcha type question. President Trump has all the latitude.
No, it wasn't a typical got you type question. The woman asked him after he said that they why would he tell them they're not putting a time limit on it? The woman, she was stepped on by the other reporter before he went to Raising Cane. She said, well, the president put a 4-week limit on the time frame. So are you saying that he is wrong? You may have missed that. Now he's going back to her talking about it's a typical NBC gotcha question. No, it's a typical question because you set your ass up there and talking about you not putting any time frames on it when 4547 has already put a time frame on it. So you're trying to chastise a grown woman for doing her job because you're incapable of doing yours.
In the world to talk about how long it may or may not.
Capability that we have over there.
I heard the question about 4 weeks. It's the typical NBC sort of gotcha type question. President Trump has all the latitude in the world to talk about how long it may or may not take. 4 weeks, 2 weeks, 6 weeks. It could move up. It could move back. We're going to execute at his command the objectives we've set out to achieve, and what he has shown an ability to do that other presidents can't quite seem to have the aperture to do.
So what does her asking a valid question have to do with you trying to dehumanize her and act as if she did something that is not her job to do in questioning you?
Well, I mean, Joe Biden didn't even know what he was doing, is to look for opportunities and off-ramps and escalations for the United States that creates new opportunities to execute what we need on our own timeline. So you can play games about 4 weeks, 5 weeks. He has all the latitude, and I'm glad he does, because there's no better communicator than our president expressing those things. I've been in meetings with the president for the last 2.5 days. Own timeline. So you can play games about 4 weeks, 5 weeks. He has all the latitude, and I'm glad he does, because there's no better communicator than our president expressing those things. I've been in meetings with the president for the last 2.5 days. We know exactly where his headspace is, and he will communicate as he should exactly.
So she's saying that those were statements that were made to the Daily Mail, and so he wants to fight with her about actual facts that came out of the president's mouth, and he's trying to play like she's playing games and this, that, and the other. You know, you're just unqualified and incompetent.
What he would like, and we will follow those orders. And I think everything he said on that is right down the middle. Absolutely. Yes, right there. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Secretary. I left my hometown of Sakist in Iranian Kurdistan in 1996. Can you promise that I will be able to return home safely this year? And I have a following question too, please.
I appreciate to the people seized by the reality of this regime killing 10 people.
You served in Iraq and know that no American soldiers were killed in Kurdistan. The Kurdish people are very pro-American. Will you continue to protect Kurdistan and Peshmerga as loyal ally of the United States? Why I'm asking this question? Because now Kurdistan is under attack by Iranian drones and by proxies in Iraq and on the region.
I think I can speak to allies generally in the region who we've been in constant communication with. We have been standing shoulder to shoulder with them, and we appreciate their capabilities. Absolutely. Yes, right here.
Hi, thank you. Cameron Harkin with the Daily Wire. My question is about some of the domestic threats, if any, regarding this right now. Have there been any concerns about Iranian sleeper cells, and kind of what has the Trump administration been doing to kind of monitor these threats?
Across the interagency, in full coordination. Of course, we're paying attention to any potentialities there. This is a former regime, that seeks to export that ideology and try to sow terror. We're ready for that. We've seen these types of folks before, and the American people can rest assured that we're vigilant on that.
Right. Secretary, thank you. Kind of a follow-up on that last question. There was just this, what appears to be a terrorist attack in Austin yesterday. How does that change the operation at all? What effect does that have?
It doesn't change the operation at all, and I know the authorities are executing exactly the way they should.
Secretary Hickseth, and one for Chairman Kane as well. I understand to your
Okay, we're going to talk about the shooting in Austin that they alleged. Who knows? You can't trust this government. They allegedly found something about Iran, something forever, and then when they searched his house, they found this, that, and the other. It's a bad thing when you cannot trust your government. But the thing about it is, this guy came to the United States in I think it was the early 90s, became a citizen of the United States. He got married to a citizen. He became a citizen of the United States, and he's not from Iran or I don't think he's even from any Middle East country.
point here that you don't want to broadcast everything.
So now they are trying to trying to say that he sat outside of a shop, started shooting at patrons at a restaurant. Well, this is what he is reported to have done. Start shooting at the patrons of a restaurant, then got out of his car and shot 3 people, I believe. 2 of them lost their lives, and the police came upon him, and they took him out, and he is no longer living as well. So they want to know if this is a sleeper cell. If that is a sleeper cell, I don't know what to tell you. So that's what they're talking about.
People also want to know what they're sending their men and women to war for. is there a concern of this spiraling into a longer war? And then one for the chairman when you're done.
Did you not hear my remarks? I mean, we're ensuring the mission gets accomplished, but we are very clear-eyed, as the president has been, unlike other presidents, about the foolish policies of the past that recklessly.
No, other presidents have been real clear. George W. Bush even landed on an aircraft carrier with the big sign behind him, "Mission Accomplished." And while we were in that war for over 20 years, what are you talking about? You were in that war. You dummy.
Pulled us in, the things that were not tethered to actual clear objectives. So we know.
Things that are not tethered to actual clear objectives, of which you have stated zero. You have stated not one clear objective. You have not even clearly stated why we are there in the first place. So the link is in my description box under let me see. Pete Keg.
We have plans, we have generals, we have chairmen, we have commanders, CENTCOM commanders, Admiral Cooper, who's executing very deliberately.
We had all of that in the Iraq and the Afghanistan war as well. You don't have nothing that but what they don't have are all of these CENTCOM leaders and all of this stuff and generals and stuff. What they don't have is a competent head at the Department of Defense. No, it's not called. You can call it the Department of War. Someone wrote in my chat. I think you were trying to help me out. I don't call it the Department of War because the Department of Defense name cannot be changed unless it goes to Congress. So the Department of Defense.
Deliberately to ensure outcomes that I laid out are accomplished, but we would never in front of a press pool lay out how long that may take. The mission for our warfighters, which is what matters to us, is very, very clear, and they're executing it right now violently.
Just for the chairman quickly, I have one for the chairman. You said this is not a one-night operation. It will take time to achieve the goals. What would be the goal line here for you?
I think the secretary laid out the military objectives, and that's what we execute against is the military objectives.
Last one right here.
Thank you, sir. As you've said, there are a large amount of U.S. service members that are in harm's way right now. What is your prayer for them?
First of all, my prayer for them is that I do pray for them. My wife prays for them. Our family prays for them. Our cabinet prays for them. None of this is done on a whim. Having been in their boots, having been in their shoes, having been in their flight suits, I know we think about them with every decision that we make and every recommendation that we make to the President of the United States. Those recommendations are made prayerfully. And when I pray every day for them and for this mission, I pray simply for the biblical wisdom to see what is right and the courage to do it. It's going to take courage to follow through on this. There's going to be a lot of noise, and we pray for that, and we hope all of you do as well. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, that's the bullshit you got in that press conference. It's under it is in my description box. Please avail yourself to it. Let me see. Let me see. I don't know what happened to that.